It was close to midnight at Sunnyside Diner, a small, slightly worn-out restaurant tucked into a quiet corner of town. The yellow neon sign flickered with every gust of wind, and inside, the clatter of dishes echoed through the empty space. Most of the evening staff had already clocked out, except for one man, Daniel. He stood hunched over a sink full of greasy pans, steam rising in a soft cloud around his tired face. His dark hair was damp with sweat, and his shirt clung to him from the heat of the dish room. Every few minutes he flexed his hands, wincing as the soap stung the small cracks on his skin. Sitting at a nearby counter, a man in a worn hoodie and faded jeans quietly observed. His name was Michael, but here everyone thought he was just the new buzzboy. In reality, he was the undercover CEO of the entire chain of diners. He'd decided to work in this location after hearing complaints about high staff turnover, but nothing could have prepared him for what he was seeing. Michael noticed the clock. It read 11:48 p.m. Daniel had been there when he arrived early that morning, hauling crates of supplies through the back door. Now, more than 14 hours later, he was still here. The manager's voice suddenly cut through the clatter. "Daniel, once you're done, mop the kitchen floor too. The night dishwasher quit again." Michael looked at him sharply. "Wait, didn't Daniel already do the morning shift?" The manager shrugged. "Yeah, but he said he'd cover. Not my problem if he's too nice to say no." Michael frowned. Too nice to say no, and not getting paid for it, he thought. Something about this man's quiet endurance stirred something deep inside him. On a short break, Michael found Daniel sitting on an overturned milk crate outside the diner, sipping water from a plastic cup. The night air was cool, a welcome relief after the sweltering heat of the kitchen. "Mind if I join you?" Michael asked, leaning against the brick wall. Daniel smiled faintly. "Sure, not much to see out here though, just the parking lot." Michael chuckled. "Sometimes that's the best view." They sat in silence for a moment before Michael asked, "You've been here all day?" Daniel nodded. "Yeah, mornings are busy, nights even more so since we're short-staffed." "Don't they pay you extra for covering another shift?" Michael asked carefully. Daniel shook his head. "Nah, overtime isn't really part of the deal, but the dishes still need washing, and if I don't do it, the morning crew will be slammed." Michael could hear the exhaustion in his voice, but also something else fried. "Why push yourself so hard?" Michael asked. Daniel hesitated, then pulled out his phone. He showed Michael a picture of a teenage girl with warm brown eyes and a shy smile. "My daughter, Lily, she's 15, smartest kid I know, loves art. She's working on a school project right now. Needs supplies I can't really afford, but she doesn't complain, never does." His voice softened. "Her mom passed away 2 years ago, cancer. Since then, it's just been me and her. I try to make sure she doesn't feel like she's missing anything, even if it means I don't sleep much." Michael swallowed hard. He'd expected to hear about financial struggles, maybe an overbearing boss, but this was sacrifice at its purest form. Daniel smiled faintly. "I'm lucky to have a job. Plenty of folks out there don't." Michael looked at him, really looked at him, and thought, if this man calls himself lucky, then the world doesn't even know the meaning of the word. 2 nights later, Michael walked into the kitchen just in time to see Daniel limping slightly as he carried a tub of dishes. His hands were red and raw, small cuts lining his knuckles. "Daniel, faster." The manager barked from the doorway. "We've got a full house tonight, and when you're done, clean the ovens." Michael's jaw tightened. The man didn't even bother to ask if Daniel could manage. Still, Daniel just nodded, muttering, "Yes, sir." Before turning back to the sink, Michael grabbed a pair of gloves and stepped beside him. "I'll help you with the pans." Daniel blinked. "You don't have to." "Yeah, I do," Michael said firmly. 2 sets of hands are faster than one. As they worked, Michael noticed something incredible. Even in the middle of bone-deep exhaustion, Daniel still hummed softly, an old song from the radio. And when he talked about Lily's latest sketch, his face lit up with pride. "I think she's got real talent," Daniel said, rinsing a plate. "She just needs the right tools. Maybe one day she'll get a scholarship, go to art school. That'd make all of this worth it." Michael knew right then that something had to change, not tomorrow, not next week, now. The staff were gathered in the dining area for what they thought was just a quick meeting. Daniel stood off to the side, wiping his hands on a rag. Michael stepped forward, removed his hoodie, and straightened his shoulders. "My name isn't Mike the busboy," he said, his voice steady. "I'm Michael Grant. I'm the owner and CEO of Sunnyside Diners. A ripple of shock swept through the room. Daniel blinked in disbelief. You, what? I came here undercover to see how this place really runs. Michael continued, and I found something I didn't expect. I found a man who works double shifts without complaint, even when he isn't being paid for them. A man who puts his family above his own comfort, and that's not okay, not in my company. Michael turned directly to Daniel. Starting today, you're officially the kitchen supervisor. Full-time pay, full benefits, and every single unpaid hour you've worked is being compensated, plus a bonus. He handed Daniel a thick envelope. This will cover your rent for the next year, and he reached into another folder. Here's a scholarship fund for your daughter's art education, whatever she needs, supplies, classes, even college tuition. This will take care of it. Daniel's eyes widened, then filled with tears. I don't know what to say. Say thank you by taking a day off. Michael said gently, spend it with your daughter. 1 month later, the diner felt different. The air was lighter, the staff worked with smiles instead of sighs, and the kitchen ran smoother than ever under Daniel's leadership. Daniel wore a crisp, clean apron now, and his limp had disappeared. His hands were healing. That afternoon, Lily came in after school, a sketchbook tucked under her arm. She shyly showed her dad a detailed pencil drawing of the diner, complete with the glowing neon sign outside. It's beautiful, Daniel said, hugging her. Michael, sitting at a corner booth with a cup of coffee, watched quietly. He didn't need thanks. This, seeing hope bloom again, was enough. Daniel caught his eye and mouthed, "Thank you." Michael simply smiled. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Daniel walked Lily home, her laughter carrying through the street. And for the first time in years, he let himself believe that the future could be brighter than the past. He looked at his daughter and said, sometimes life surprises you in the best way. The story of Daniel and the Undercover CEO is more than just about fair pay or a promotion. It's a reminder that kindness and hard work, though often unnoticed, have the power to change lives when someone chooses to truly see them. Daniel's quiet sacrifices for his daughter reflected the silent struggles so many endure, and Michael's compassion proved that leadership is not measured by profit alone, but by the lives you touch along the way. In the end, this was not only a transformation for Daniel, but for everyone who witnessed it, a testament that empathy can break cycles of hardship, and that sometimes the smallest act of recognition can give someone the courage to dream again.